Welcome back to another video. Today we're working on the 2001 Ram 3500 and we're going to knock out a couple of maintenance items I wanted to do. So there's a couple of small fixes, there's a couple of small issues that I don't necessarily call them issues, but stuff I want to take care of and kind of make this truck just a little bit better. So let's go ahead and get into it. Alright, so if you guys aren't familiar, this is my 2001 Ram 3500 that we've kind of been restoring over the past couple of years, and I got some small stuff I want to take care of. So in the back here, nothing too crazy, but you'll see my toolbox held together with a bungee cord. Not the most ideal, and I've kind of just been too lazy to do anything about it, but I've been putting together a parts list. Yeah, nothing too crazy. It's just what I want to do is I want to adjust and get some stuff to bolt this thing down for real. This is kind of like a weird bed clamp thing that it's okay, but definitely lets it move around a little bit, so I don't really like that. And yeah, so that's the first thing. I want to get this thing bolted down properly so it's not going anywhere. And then the other thing is my clips don't actually work. So if you pull on these things, as you can see, they don't do anything. So looking at it kind of closely, this lock is obviously toast. We're not going to use that ever again. But all it's missing is a spring that goes from here to here to make this actuate properly. And then on this side, you can see there's a bar and a little set screw. The set screw on that side is missing. So I'm gonna go ahead and get a parts list and just basically get a spring kit from Harbor Freight. And I think we're gonna grab something here so we can fix the toolbox. And then that'll kind of make this just a little bit nicer and not look quite as dumb with a bungee cord. And then up in the front end, nothing too crazy, but we got a couple things I want to do. So there's a mod from Mopar Man, runs a forum. You can see that I still have some oil leaks going on, and I think it's from this catch can idea that I have going here. So essentially this thing, and yeah, this thing is how I modified it. I needed a bigger hole because this tiny little 1/8 inch hole was not enough to let it vent properly, and it was causing blow by and some other stuff. Not blow by, but it was causing excessive pressures and other bull crap. So yeah, don't want that. But I'm gonna get rid of this catch can altogether. I don't like it. I think it's a dumb idea. Something I thought would work but didn't. And I'm gonna run a hose basically from here, the hose clamp, and the way the mod works, you run it up, straight back, and then it drops down behind the transmission so it's out of the way. You don't smell any engine bay fumes because it's dumping under the cab, and makes life easier that way. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I already have the hose. I'm gonna reuse the same stuff I was using for my heat exchanger hose, and it's about the same diameter, 3/4 inch I believe, and get some elbows and hose clamps. That should make life easier there, just because like I think it looks dumb. I don't like it up here, and you get some residual just oil vapor smells in the engine bay and cabin because your intake's right there. So I don't like that. Not air intake, your cabin intake. So, and then lastly, I noticed my coolant was down just a little bit, so I saw a little bit of splatter right around here. This is the old radiator cap that I never replaced when we did the radiator. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and order a new radiator cap. And then this just noticed, I don't know if you can see that, there's a little bit of, real close, see that bubbling right there? So this is one of the hoses to your heater core. This one, I don't know which one to feed and return, but I replaced the heater core, never messed with these hoses before, but you can see like there's definitely some leaks going on there. So I suspect that's probably where my coolant leak is. It is a very slight leak. I'm talking like several thousand miles. It might drop a little bit of an inch on here. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and pop this hose off and replace that with a hose clamp. So I'm gonna do that first, clean up the surfaces, and then go ahead and replace that, just to make sure it's nice and tight. Over time, these, yeah, I shouldn't be able to do that. I think this clamp is just shot. Should not be able to move that by hand like this. So honestly, I think a hose clamp should fix that, and we'll be good to go. So other than that, not too much has been going on. I went ahead and drove the truck around with the alignment and insulators and some other stuff, and it's driving pretty decent. Still got just a little bit of bumpiness, but I think that's just 3500 stuff. I don't think it's anything to worry about. Might do the rear shocks at some point. Other than that, I think she's good to go. So the truck's been doing great. Looks pretty sweet. Brakes and everything been awesome. I do need to top off my air because it's getting colder out, and yeah, but all in all, she's pretty good. So let's go ahead and start there. Super easy fixes, nothing crazy going on. I just kind of want to make this truck just a little bit better. So that's where I'm going to start, in that hose clamp area. All right, so that should take care of that. No issue there. I'm gonna go ahead and put an order in for a new radiator cap just to make sure we're good. And then I also, while I'm at it, I need to order the new wheel speed sensors from last video if you guys didn't see that. So gotta do that as well. Other than that though, seems pretty good. So next up, I really wanna go ahead and get a parts list. So I'm gonna need two 90-degree elbows essentially, and I think that's about it. A couple hose clamps, and then we should be good. I don't like these pressure clamps, because you can see obviously it's not holding in the oil, it's letting it seep around, and that's kind of gross. It just makes the front end look disgusting. And I think that also might be a little bit of oil leak aid. As it drips down, it'll, yeah, not great. So I'm gonna go ahead and just get something a little better than that. So other than that, I think next up, let's go ahead and knock this out. All right, so I figured out how I want to run the crankcase vent. So there's actually some leftover 3/4 inch heater hose that I had laying around. If you guys follow for the Mustang, you'll know I used it for my intercooler, and it actually happens to fit perfectly. So there's a 90 that was from the old intercooler, but any 90 heater hose, or even not, you can just buy the actual 90-degree elbows. But anyway, so from right there, comes up, runs underneath here. I have it loosely tied so I can pull it out if I need to the dipstick bolt right there, right back here. And then it runs down. I don't know if you can kind of follow it. And I stuck it right into, and it comes out right here into the frame rail. And I was looking at a bunch of different ways people do it, and it seems to be the best way. I didn't want it hanging right here because I don't know, I thought it looked weird. And having it go into the frame rail will kind of, any kind of oil vapors that do wind up in here, just help prevent rust. So figure, you know what, might as well use what the truck naturally offers and just do it that way. So easy day there. Now let's get onto the toolbox. All right, so I ran out to Lowe's to kind of get a couple different parts, and Lowe's and Harbor Freight. So this should be what I need spring-wise. This guy right here, something like this. For the latches, this is a $5 spring kit from Harbor Freight. Pretty comprehensive, so it should do everything I need. And then I needed 2 bolts like this, and where's my other, there we go. I also needed to get some set screws, and my toolbox takes M5 by 0.80. That's the same size as the old set screw I pulled out, which is right here. And that'll help us make sure that we have that bar that runs across the whole thing and be able to be good. So I'm gonna go ahead and stick this together, a couple parts, about, I don't know, 10 bucks in parts. See if we can get a good to go toolbox after this. All right, sorry about the toolbox. I just kind of want to show what we're working with here. So these guys seem to be missing, and there's supposed to be something that pokes out and lets you hook onto this guy that this thing can actually grab onto. So when it closes, it has something to hook onto. So that's what we got those 2 bolts for right here. Work those, and then our spring mechanism needs to go right here. So there needs to be something that holds onto here and latches around that little guy right there. And that'll keep this up. And when you pull it, it opens, closes. Lastly, you can see this bar right here is what ties these 2 together. And that's where our set screws go. So let's go flip you guys time lapse and see what we can figure out, see if we can get this thing fixed. All right, took a bit of finagling, and I want to be using different hardware because turns out these were too thick. It was hidden right on the edge of the bolt there. So I bent the bracket just a bit and put on some different hardware I had laying around the shop, and boom, check it out. So just like that, easy day. I bent the bracket up just a little bit to angle it down just a hair. These are all working, nice and lubed up. There we go, nice and secure. And boom, no more needing a bungee cord to hold this together. So I think it looks a lot better. Yep, we can get rid of this guy. There we go. Only took me like a year to get around to this. Sometimes, guys, you gotta stop being lazy about projects and just get after it, and then everything's good to go. So, easy day. I think that's really about all we have going on with the truck right now. So let's go ahead and turn it on and make sure everything looks Gucci, and then we're good to go. All right, let's crank this thing on, make sure everything's good, and then I think we've pretty much got everything buttoned up. I'm gonna do a wait to start real quick. Cold areas like this, I would suggest highly not deleting the grid heater. Super important for getting a nice, easy cold start. All right. There we go. Take a listen to how she sounds. Best sounding diesel out there in my opinion. All right, check our little vent tube location. All right, there we have it. I can feel a little bit of venting, no visible anything. Once it warms up, you'll see a little bit due to the condensation that gets evaporated into the oil, but yeah, there we have it. Alright, nice and easy. Cleaned up out of the way. I don't see any leaks coming from our area back there. It's still wet because from earlier, but sweet. Shouldn't have any more oil issues of, making a mess right there, so that's nice. And it's good to go. Topped off our coolant from that little thing. Boom. There we have it. Well, thanks for watching, guys. I just wanted to go ahead and put that out there, just, some more small stuff in the truck. If you ever have some downtime or get bored, go out and check out your vehicles. Make sure nothing's too crazy is going on. Give them a once over, and if you have any pending projects like I did, go ahead and take a couple hours and knock them out and be better for it. So, thanks for watching, guys. I will see you in the next video. Take it easy, and let me know what you guys think.